On everyone, my name is Matt Jarbo. This is Stranger Days. And being on YouTube for as long as I have, I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of things. I've learned a lot of stuff, and I love to always learn. I love to always be reading up on the platform because they constantly change things and tweak things as a way to make it better. It doesn't always make it better. In fact, I'd say 9 times out of 10 probably makes it worse. But what really does make a lot of it worse is when we as content creators constantly have to defend our right to exist because we see articles like this that get treated as being something worth reading. And that is YouTube, the Great Radicalizer, written here by Zeynep Tufekci from March 8th, 2018. Now, in this article, she essentially says that YouTube radicalizes people. Right, that YouTube can radicalize people to a certain ideology, a certain belief structure, and that's that's her assertion. And a lot of people picked up on that. A lot of people kind of ran with that. A lot of people basically sat there and were like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. YouTube radicalizes people. And of course, she's referring quite a bit to the 2016 presidential election. And it's one that was a very contentious one on YouTube. A lot of people talking about it, absolutely. But even though a lot of people talked about Trump and they talked negatively about Hillary, I don't think it really radicalized as many people as what she's trying to insinuate that it did. And one of the reasons for that is because what we've seen now is a Pew study that basically kind of refutes those claims. Now, in this little summary here, it says a recent Pew Research study investigated the platform's viewing suggestions and found results were dominated by popular kids content and music videos, not fringe material, contradicting scholar Zeynep Tufekci's assertion that YouTube radicalizes viewers. But the study started with the random selections and couldn't test for personalized recommendations. As one critic noted, a student searching for the U.S. Federal Reserve would quickly see conspiracy theories as suggestions. And while 60% of parents reported their kids encountering inappropriate content, the platform countered that the YouTube should only use YouTube Kids, which is the kids should only use, not YouTube, children should only use YouTube Kids, which is very true. This is where we get into a weird thing here. Because what Zeynep is trying to say is that your viewing, your recommendations, the algorithm shows you content based upon what you look at, right? But the vast majority of people end up probably just watching content that is the most popular. It's one of the reasons why Watch Mojo is popular. It's one of the reasons why those kids shows are freaking insanely popular. I don't understand it. I never looked into it until I had a daughter, and now I've watched so much goddamn Peppa Pig. I probably want to blow my own fucking brains out. That is how annoying that show is. Still better than Caillou because fuck him, but still, those things garner so much attention, and those don't lead to conspiracy theories unless you probably were making Peppa Pig conspiracy theory videos, of which I'm assuming there probably are many of them. But the way she views it is that, the YouTube algorithm radicalizes people based upon their personal viewing recommendations. But there are certain caveats to that do need to be discussed. Number one is you have 3 different forms, essentially, of how YouTube will recommend you content. One is your PC. Whatever you watch on here, that's where stuff gets recommended. 2 is your mobile device, whether you're watching on a phone or a tablet or a Nintendo Switch or whatever, that's what gets recommended to you. Is your mobile device will then look at a different viewing history and recommend you videos based upon what you normally tend to watch in that particular setting. And then 3 is your TV. So if you have a smart TV, it will do the exact same thing. And all 3 instances have different results. So trying to sit there and say that it radicalizes you as an across the board thing doesn't really make a lot of sense. But when you look at people just watching the top content, oftentimes that number, that metric is what draws more people in, which is both a good and a bad thing. When you look for a topic like, the U.S. Federal Reserve, you're going to find, videos about it, maybe some documentaries, but you're also going to find a lot of videos saying, and the Fed, and here's why. Even though people should never really go to YouTube to look for that kind of information right off the bat. You know what I mean? They should go there. Sure. Absolutely. Go watch content. It's a lot of fun. But be ready to kind of look at everything with a grain of salt. I would hope people come to my content with a grain of salt. I hope they go to other people's content with a grain of salt and not treat it as being the abject, literal truth. But the problem with that is that there are people out there that do, but they are a very small percentage. When you look at the articles, YouTube, the great radicalizer, and all the other people that back up the sentiment that YouTube radicalizes on this mass global scale, it is not accurate, at least not here in the United States. Now, when YouTube opens itself up to other countries, we start seeing state-sponsored media coming in to open channels. I did talk about that a bit in the T-Series versus PewDiePie video about how as these countries start to come into the 21st century, they get internet, they get YouTube. The top channels are going to probably be state-sponsored content, which basically means that they're going to be given all that information from a direct source. And those are going to become very popular, then yeah, I would see that as being a thing, right? But we also have to sit there, and this is true, we also have to sit there and approach things from a personal responsibility tactic. If you have your children watching YouTube unattended, there's no excuse for not using the YouTube Kids app. Even though we've learned that certain things have made it through, for the most part, they tend to be pretty good. If you allow your kid to watch YouTube untethered, who knows what they're going to find? I can only imagine. But they also have gotten really good at really trying to look at what to gauge the situation to not have it be that way. So I find it to be interesting that YouTube, gets accused of being a radicalization, platform, but it's very, very minimal in regards to how that works. Not to say that it doesn't have an impact on one person or two people, right? We've learned Alex Jones and his attacks on Sandy Hook and the survivors, calling it a hoax, has led to one woman specifically harassing the family members so many times she was barred from ever viewing InfoWars content ever again on any platform. That woman was radicalized, but she wasn't radicalized because of YouTube. She was radicalized because of Alex Jones. There's a difference. There's a personal responsibility on the woman as well as probably Alex Jones. We people who are in the open space do have to be wary of how we phrase things and how we put things out there. Unfortunately, the way the algorithm works here on YouTube essentially is that it does favor the more clickbaity, the more hyperbolic, the more in your face. Certain things will in fact pull in better views, and it's up to the person watching that to be responsible for how they feel and their interpretation of it after the fact. Anyway, what I really want to talk about this thing here is the fact that YouTube doesn't radicalize people. They're going to use it as a way to further try to attack the platform and attack its creators, right? This woman trying to say through a New York Times article that it's a great radicalizer, it reeked of Trump derangement syndrome. It really did. Saying, oh, Trump got elected, this is the reason, right? It radicalized people on YouTube. Now, I do think that it is easy to manipulate on YouTube. It's not very hard. You can go to multiple services and purchase fake likes, fake subscribers, fake comments. You can do all of these things. It's been open and it's been an open secret for years. YouTube is really good at catching on to that. But then again, that's not YouTube that is the problem. It is the person. It is a creator. It is an entity that is not the platform that is using it in disingenuous ways. That is what needs to be talked about. That is what needs to be looked into. But attacking the platform as a whole is ridiculous. And it just drives me up the wall because, as I said at the beginning of this, and I stand by it wholeheartedly, we always have to defend our right to exist. And it doesn't matter if you're a news commentator, a fashion vlogger, a gamer, whatever, man. Every one of us always constantly has to defend our right to exist. And when we get stuff like this, it creates fear, it creates hyperbole, it's clickbait, and it's designed to do nothing more than cause division, cause doubt, and ultimately hurt us who have done nothing to you. That's it. That's it. So no, YouTube does not radicalize people. That's a BS loaded statement. It's a loaded opinion piece that's easily debunked. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been Stranger Days. If you haven't already, thumbs up the video, type in the chat. If you made it this far in the chat, type in YouTube so I just know you guys made it. Subscribe, check back often for more content from me. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.